Hi everyone. All right, should we start now? Right. I think we can't wait further because our Zoom is max as 300 people. All right. Give me a second. All right. So on behalf of NCNS, I would like to congratulate all of you who are here because you are one of the 300 most lucky people, right? We have over 1,800 participants have attended the survey test, but unfortunately our Zoom can only get 300 people. So congratulate for you here. If you know any friends who couldn't join Zoom today, tell them that this class has live stream, so they can watch the live stream today, do the homework that teacher Andrew will announce at the end of the class, and then they can join the Zoom next week. Right, now before we start, I would like to invite Alice. Alice has a duty to make a special announcement. So Alice, please share your screen and make a special announcement.
Thank you. And hello, my name is Alice. So today I heard that it's Teacher Andrew's birthday. So I created a video for him. And teacher, this is for you.
All right. So everyone, please watch the watch a video, the special present that Alice has done, and maybe sing together, right? At the end of the video clip. Okay. All right, Alice. Huh? Is something wrong, Alice? It stopped?
No, it's just the end.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Alice. All right. Now, Andrew.
Yep.
Right. I think that everyone is excited. I don't know what to do. All right. I hope that you have a very special birthday this year. And sincerely thank you for your kindness, for your family kindness as well, because we know that it is a family sacrifice, all right, when they let the father, the husband, right, to build up that amazing program that attract like more than 1,800 people. Right. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Thanks very much for the wishes. I can't answer to all the chats on the chat box as I'm going to do a screen sharing. All right. So, but I thank you all for your well wishes. All right. Without further ado, let us proceed with the lesson in proper. All right. A very good day to everyone. Welcome to We Love Science 2023 series, chapter 1, living and non-living things. All right. Okay. So we are going to follow this content strictly, but of course, the timing of each lesson, right, will have to be further discussed with NCSN. But for now, what we know that for the first 10 topics, we're going to do it in the next 10 weeks. All right, starting with today's lessons on living and non-living things. So some big questions, right, that you might be asking yourself as a primary 3-year-old students. 9 years old students, what are living things and non-living things? Is there some characteristic that we are going to talk about? How do we group them? So these are the 3 big questions that a 9-year-old kid should know when coming to learn this chapter. So let's start by looking at the first questions. What are living things and non-living things? Can we eat them? Well, talking about eating now, maybe it's time for breakfast. I'm very hungry now. All right, let's carry on. So based on this a little flow chart here, we know that we can categorize things into 2 big categories: living things and non-living things. Under living things, there are 2 subcategories, whereby it's once part of living things, or known as once alive and never alive. Things that are alive are called living things, whereas non-living things are not alive. No matter how you touch them or how you were to talk to them, they won't respond to you. But most important of all, some non-living things are made from things that were once part of living things. As you can see from this table, this little picture here, we have categorized them into living and non-living things. Living things such as humans, people, animals, and plants. Non-living things like socks, table, car, dolls, and so on. So after we look at living things and non-living things, maybe we look into some of their characteristics, all right? Are they tall or not so tall? Are they round or square? All right. So the most important things to take note for a primary 3 students is the characteristic of non-living, characteristic of living things. Most important of all, everyone should know that all living things needs air, water, and food to survive. In the exam questions, teachers like to come up with this question on, tell me some of the characteristics of living things. So the student need to know and need to understand and need to write down. As long as they write down, all living things need air, water, and food to survive, the question is correct. So living things will die quickly without air and water, but they can survive for a short period without food. So air, water, food is the most important things that a living thing needs to survive. All right. Next, all living things can grow. They can grow from very tiny, small, and to very big. As they grow, they may change their shape, size, and appearance. One example is a plant. When we were to plant a seed in the soil, the plant is still a seed. Then slowly, from a seed, it grow up to a young plants, followed by adult plants. But the characteristic, the green color leaves don't change. It only grow taller and taller and taller and bigger. But some of the living things, when they grow, they change their shape, they change their size, they change their appearance. One example is the frog. When the frog was young, it is a tadpole. This little cute feather here. Once it grow up, it completely changed itself. The frog has no more tails. The frog eyes are big. The frog now is green in color instead of black. So these are some of the characteristics that when they change, some living things change when they grow up. All right. But most important of all living things will eventually die when they become old or their body parts start to fail. They may also die if they fall very sick or do not have enough air, water, and food, or are being eaten up by other living things. All right, next up. Living things can move a part of their body by themselves. Animals can move from place to place to look for food and shelter. Some of the students asked me, Teacher Andrew, you mentioned that animal can move from one place to another, and all living things actually must move. But question is, the plants are being grounded on the soil. How can the plants move? Well, The plants move differently from animals. We as humans, we walk around. Maybe we walk around from point A to point B to find something, or we run around the park to exercise. For the plants, they move by tilting their stem towards the direction of the sun. Let's say we have one little plant like that, straight, but the sun is this way. So what happens is the stem will tilt itself, move itself towards the sun to get more sunlight. So this is some of the ways how the plants actually move in comparison to an animal, where an animal use the leg to move, while the plants tilt their stem towards the sun. All right. As you can see in the picture here, we have this little animal here walking around, moving around to find food. And we have plants over here tilting its stem towards the sun. So these are the two ways on how some living things can move. All right. Living things can respond to changes around them. So the ability to respond to changes try to help them to survive. For example, if we have a turtle, the turtle, when it feels danger, it will basically go inside its shell, to use the shell as a cover to protect himself from any dangers. Same as us, when we human, we touch something that's hot, the first reaction is ouch. We just what? Basically, why? Because when we touch something hot, the reaction that we have is to move our hand away, so that to prevent ourselves from getting hurt or something like that. So these are some of the ways that a living thing can respond to changes. The next characteristic that we want to take note is living things actually reproduce to have young, so that their own kind continue to exist. So the mother chicken will lay eggs and a baby chick will form. From there, the life cycle continues to ensure that this particular species will not go extinct. All right, next up. So these are some of the charts that all students should know. Living things and non-living things. So as we have covered earlier just now, living things respond to changes in their surrounding. One example is you use your hand, you will accidentally touch a hot surface, you will basically jump and move your hand away to prevent yourself from getting hurt. Next up, living things can grow. A baby will grow into a young child grow into an adult. Next thing, living things reproduce. So we have mothers giving birth to babies. The babies grow up, and the baby who then become mother and continue the life cycle again. All right, and also the most important of all, living things need air, water, and food to stay alive. Okay, next up, in corresponding to living things, non-living things do the opposite way. Living things respond to changes. Non-living things do not respond to changes. No matter how you hit the stone with a stick, the stone will still don't react. The stone will just stay at a fixed place, and no move, nothing. All right. The stone, non-living things do not grow. For living things, we see the baby and then become studying at primary school. Kids slowly move up all the way to secondary school, adult life, then become a old man or woman. But the stone, no matter how long the time have passed, no matter how many years have passed, the stone is still a stone. The stone shape is still there. No matter what happened, the stone just don't grow. All right. The non-living things do not reproduce. We have mothers giving birth to babies, but the stone cannot give birth to another baby stone. Stone will forever be there, unless somebody go use a hammer and knock it and break it into two parts. But this process of breaking into two parts is not reproduction. All right. And one most important of all, non-living things do not need any air, water, and food to survive. All right. No matter how many water you pour on the stone, no matter how many air is how much air is around the surrounding, the stone will still be like this, no move. All right. So let's go through some of the wrong information that the students may remember wrongly. All right. Some examples are plants are non-living things because they do not move from place to place. All right. Let me have a show of hands. Is it true or false? So can I have a volunteer now to let me know, to tell me, is it true or false? All right, we have this one is it? One Zolaida, is it? Hi. Is this questions plants are living non-living things because they do not move from place to place? Is it true or false? Okay, then another person.
Plants are not non-living things, but they do grow, but they do not move from place to place. So the answer is false.
Correct. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lucia, is it? All right, thanks a lot. Okay, this is wrong. Why? Because although plants do not move from place to place, they can move a certain part of themselves to respond to changes around them. Like the plants need more sunlight for photosynthesis, so the plant will tilt all the way towards the sun. This tilting of the stem is also part of the movements that living things will do. All right, next up. Okay, next question. Things that can move are living things. Is it true or false? Can I have a volunteer, please? Maybe we can ask, yes, Sarah.
Well, I think it is false.
Why do you think it's false?
Because I guess so.
I understand. All right, thank you very much. Let's look at the answer now, all right? Yes, you are right. Not everything that can move are living things. One example is a car, a bicycle. Bicycle and car can move by itself, but it's not living things. The car don't drink water, the car don't eat. So therefore, the car is not a living things, but it can move. So this theory of things that move are living thing is wrong. All right, next up. Let's look at how to group them together. All right. Okay, so we some of the most simple grouping is we group by colors. Okay, blue color go this side, red color go the other side, something like that. All right, let's carry on. So living things can be classified into groups such as plants, animals, fungi, and bacteria. So some of the characteristics of each individual living things are plants make their own fruit through photosynthesis. Animals eat other living things for food. Fungi get food from dead, decaying, or waste matter. So just imagine in front of you, you have mushroom, you have sunflower plants, you have a dog or cat, and you're going to group them together in different categories, whether it's your plants, animals, or fungi. So the first thing you ask yourself, we know that plants make their own food. So among the sunflower plants, dog, etc., or mushroom, which one makes their own food? Can I have a show of hands who want to answer this question? Among sunflowers, dog, and mushroom, which one makes their own food? Can I have a show of hands who want to answer these questions? Yes, David.
Yeah, I think it was because the biggest was mushroom because mushroom is type of fungus and fungus can make their own food.
Okay, thank you very much. Fungi, okay, fungi cannot make their own food, all right? Fungi, they actually they actually get the food from the dead and waste decaying materials. Only plants with leaves make their own food. Why? Because plants have leaves which have chlorophyll and stomata, which we're going to explain in the next few chapters. They use the sunlight to make their own food. Therefore, among the three different things that I mentioned, sunflower plants, dog, and mushroom, sunflower plants is a plant that make their own food, whereas a dog is an animal that eat other living things for food. And we have fungi, which basically get the food from the dead, decaying, or waste matter like wood, whereby you have mushroom grow on the wood. All right. How they move? As mentioned earlier, plants actually move certain parts by themselves, but cannot move from place to place. Whereas, yes, you can get food nutrients is also a form of food, correct? Because I look at some of the chat mentioned, they mentioned that yes, fungi do not do any photosynthesis. All right. We have some questions. Fungi don't do photosynthesis. You need to have a leaves in order for photosynthesis to take place. All right. For fungi, they get nutrients. They get the things from the wood. Correct. This kind of nutrients, right? In a layman's simple term for primary 3 students, right, is a type of simple food. All right. We'll make it more simple for those people who are aged 9 years old and below. All right. So in a most simple layman term, right, fungi get its food from decaying dead waste matters. All right. Animals, many can move by itself from place to place, whereas fungi can move certain part by themselves, but they cannot move from place to place. So next, after we look into how we group the living things together, let's group or classify. How do we group and classify non-living things? So we basically group them according to their shape, their color, their texture, their property, or of the materials, such as strength, flexibility, ability to float or sink in water. All right. So non-living things are those that lacking the characteristic of life. We know that living things need air, water, and food to survive. Non-living things actually don't need all these things. So based on the definitions, non-living things include rock, water, sand, glass, and the sun. All these don't show that they're being alive. They don't drink water. They don't eat. Neither do they respond to any changes, etc. Okay. So I'll have to block the chat now. All right, because I believe there's some people calling 911, all these things. So I'll block the chat so that people can focus on the lesson. All right, so back to where we are. Living things, we know clear cut as long as you have as long as the thing drink water, eat, and respond to changes, you are living things. But non-living things, we have two subcategories. We have once alive and never alive. Once alive means this particular thing in the past, it was actually a living thing. Never alive means this particular thing was never alive at all. Some example of once alive, non-living things are wood, rubber, and paper. Why? Because we take them from a living tree. They belong to a living tree before they are processed and changed into wood, rubber, and paper. So as long as this particular thing, we know that the source of this thing was a living thing before, like a tree, wood, tables, rubber, these are all once alive, non-living things. But however, we look at handphone, we look at rock, we look at sand. These are considered non-living things because they were never alive before. All right. So take note on these categorizations. All right. Next up. So some examples of living things. Some examples of non-living things grouping. We have once alive. We have paper and table, which all came from a tree. Things that are never alive is stone, metal ruler. All right. So let's do some tests now. All right. We ask ourselves this question when we want to ask whether is this a living thing or not. Number one, can it move? Number two, can it grow? Number three, can it breathe? Number four, does it react to changes? All right. So with lastly, does it reproduce? As long as the thing fulfill all these criteria of move, grow, breathe, react, and reproduce, this thing is called a living things. All right. Non-living test. Does someone or something else have to make it? If yes, It is a non-living things. Does someone or something else have to move it? If yes, it's a non-living things. Was it once alive, but now it's not alive anymore? If yes, this is a non-living things. So as long as this thing fulfill all these three criteria, it is a non-living things. Is this fish alive? So let's look at all these things, all these factors. Yes, fish in the water can move, grow, breathe, react, and reproduce. Hence, it is alive. Is this car alive? Based on all the factors? No, because the car needs someone to move it. The car cannot grow into a big car. The car don't need to breathe. The car don't react to any changes. You use a metal to knock on it, it will still be there. Can the car reproduce to a baby car? Nope, the car cannot reproduce. Therefore, based on these factors, we can say that this car is a non-living thing. What about the tree? Is the tree alive? Based on the factors that's given there, yes, the tree is alive. Is this sandwich alive? Based on the factors, no, sandwich is not alive. Lastly, cloud alive? Nope, cloud cloud is not alive because it cannot move by itself. It can't grow by itself. It cannot have baby clouds. Is this cartoon alive? Nope, this cartoon is not alive because it's a cartoon, a picture. A picture cannot do anything. Is the sun alive? Nope, sun is not alive. Lastly, is the starfish alive? Yes, starfish alive because it can move, grow, breathe, react, and reproduce. So now we have moved on to the next segment. This is a homework that I need all of you to do. Please record a video which should not exceed 3 minutes in length, showcasing 6 items in your house. For each item you show, please clarify whether it is categorized as a living things or a non-living things. If it falls under the non-living thing category, specify whether it was once alive or never alive. You have to explain the reason behind your characterizations. Kindly upload the video to Padlet, and we'll review some of them during our next lesson. The Padlet links are as follow. I will be sending this homework page to the Zalo group chat, and from there we will see how to go about it later on. All right. So that's all for my presentation part. I shall move on to the quiz part. So let me get Alice to share the screen on the quiz. Alice?
Yeah, can you wait me one minute?
All
I
right,
need to
sure.
put it on. Thank
All
you.
right, sure, no worries. Yes, I'll be sending the homework link to Zalo now, so that everyone can see it. I understand from Dr. Is that we had that you have to submit your homework in order for you to qualify for the next lesson Zoom link. So please upload your homework to Padlet and write your Zalo name on the homework as well, so at least you can know who you are.
Teacher Andrew. So
Yep.
the homework rules is when you submit the homework in Padlet or on Facebook, NCSNs, can you make sure that you include your yellow name, because then we will I think we will be able to send you the yellow group. Or what I can do is, Teacher Andrew, I will create a Google form. So for them, after they submit on Padlet, they can complete the Google form, and then they will be able to see what we call the new Zoom for lesson 2, yeah, or every weekly lesson. Is it okay?
All right, sure, no issues.
Okay,
So
thank you. Yeah.
So there will be so after you upload the homework to Padlet, you have to submit a Google form to doctor, at least so that she can know who have finished the homework. Then from there, she will give the lesson 2 Zoom link
Yeah.
to those people who have submitted.
Yeah. So they and in your Padlet, can you make sure you also put your yellow number? So Alice and Joy, and Stella, the co-host team, will be able to identify you and add you to the to provide you the link, the Zoom for lesson 2. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So Alice, can you share the homework? Thank you. Or the quiz. Yeah.
Yeah, so how many minutes should we do?
We will do for 5 minutes. All right, looks like we have more than 60 participants. All right, no, it's okay. We will.
Let me. Oh,
Wait, why can't I click?
look at. Okay. Okay. Let me.
Okay, no worries. We'll carry on from here. Next lesson we'll look into more players. So at least you can press OK and we can start the session now.
Yeah. But the problem is, why couldn't I click OK?
Alice, can you do it? Oh, that's okay. Alice, are you doing as well? I mean, you know,
No.
if you can see the question on the screen and then let everyone to watch it as well or no? No?
No, I could not join because it's like
Maximum. Okay, no worry. Continue.
We will explore to see whether to upgrade the account. All right, for those who are waiting while the people are answering the quiz, right? So just take note that we will need the video. You have to first share your name, say you are from where, and then from there you can basically just take any 6 items from your house. Can be your pet dog or your pet cat, or anything like rulers or some food that you find in your house. From there, we will see, you will explain to us in the video to see whether why you say this thing is a non-living things, why you say this thing is a living things. And do know that the video should not be more than 3 minutes. All right. So after you upload to Padlet, then you can also see how other people do as well. The purpose of putting in Padlet is that so that throughout the series, right, we can still go back to see your past submission, because I'm going to categorize the Padlet into different chapters so that it's easy for you to find your item there. All right. Of course, if you have any questions regards to this topic, you can feel free to Zalo me. I will be more than happy to guide you along. So I shall pass you back to Alice for showing the questions on the screen. Okay, if you look at question 1, things that are alive are called what? Well, we know that by definition, alive means some things that can drink, eat, respond to changes. Therefore, things that are alive are called living things. All right. Question 2. Are there any non-living things be a part of living things last time? Well, we know that based on the lesson just now, we know that non-living things are further subcategorized into 2 different categories. We have the once alive and never alive. So by saying once alive, this means to say that, right, this particular non-living thing was actually part of a living things in the past. Something like your wooden table. Wooden table is made of wood. Wood comes from the trees. Therefore, are there non-living things be part of the living things? Answer is yes, there is. There are a lot. Okay, next up. What do the living things need? Remember, half an hour ago, we explored the different factors or the different things that the living things will need. The most important of all, right, is living things need air, water, and food to survive. You don't eat for long, but you need air and water. So basically, in short, air, food, and water are the most important things that the living things need. Whereas for toys, it's for comfort, but not the most important. All right, next up. True or false? Living things can live for a short period without water. The answer is false. Living things can live for a short period without food, but if the living thing cannot live without air and water. All right, next question, question 5. How can the plants move towards the direction of the sun? If you look back at what we have discussed earlier, plants, yes, even though it's grounded on the ground, but they can move their stem and tilt towards the sun to get more sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. Therefore, the plants tilt their stem is part of the way how they move towards the sun. So the plants tilt their stem towards the sun to get more sunlight. So the answer is they tilt. All right. They don't ask Teacher Andrew. Teacher Andrew can't communicate with the plants. I wish I can talk about plants. Oh, how are you? Huh? But anyway, next question number 6. Can this dog protect himself from being eaten? Answer is yes. All living things can respond to changes as response to danger. When they sense danger, they will either run or hide. So can this dog protect himself? Yes, this dog can protect himself because a dog is a living thing. Next up, the chicken can hatch, the dog can give birth, the turtles can lay eggs. This shows that living things can reproduce. All right. Because the other factor of living things is to create their own kind so that their kind can continue to grow and don't go extinct. Therefore, reproduce is one of the factors that living things can do. All right, next questions. Can fungi move from place to place? The answer is no. Fungi and plants are the same. They are stuck at whichever place they are born with. But however, they both can tilt their body parts in certain direction. All right. Question number 9. Living things can be classified into groups such as plants, animals, blank, and bacteria. So if you look at the PowerPoint slide that we gone through just now, we talk about living things can be classified into plants, animals, fungi, and bacteria. We will discuss more during the animal chapter. All right, let's carry on. Are seeds living things or non-living things? So can anyone tell me, is seed a living things or a non-living things? Let me choose a particular person. Raise your hands. Sorry. Hi, Sophia. Nice to meet you. Are seeds living things or non-living things?
I believe they are living things because they can respond to when to germinate. Because if it's winter and the conditions are not right there, it's too cold and it will not germinate. But when the spring comes and it's warmer and the soil is softer, the seed will sprout.
Understand. Thank you, Sophia. All right. Yes, you're right. Seeds are actually living things because they can respond to changes, water, etc. And they can actually, if there's enough water and the condition is right, they will germinate. All right. So the answer for question 10 is seeds are living things. All right. With that, we have gone through the quiz. Now let's go back to the dashboard or the test. Yes, to see who is the wow. We have TOCP Britain, is it? Who is the winner? Followed by we have Bill and John. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alice. Now back to my screen. I'm going to share with you a video from YouTube now to summarize what we have learned today. All right.
Okay, Teacher Andrew.
Yeah.
Wait. Don't share the YouTube yet. Can you leave it until the end? Is it the last thing?
Yeah, last thing.
Okay, so maybe we end the lesson. I mean, you just officially end the lesson. Anything that you would like to teach, and then I turn off the live stream, and then you can show the video, please. Yeah.
All right. So basically, we have come to the end of today's lesson about living things and non-living things. All right. Next lesson is about plants. So we will look into plants. What are they? How do we categorize plants? And what they do normally. All right. With that, I will see you all next week. But for those who want to stay on to watch the video to summarize today's lesson, you can stay on. Thank you very much. I'll see you in Zalo, and do remember to upload your homework. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Teacher Andrew. It's excellent to have a full 300 participants today. So I'm looking forward to receive 300 homeworks, all right? Or even more for those who could not join the Zoom class today. Please do homework, and then we see you in the Zoom class next week. Bye-bye. All right, everyone, please start.